Have you been thinking about going to professional counseling or maybe getting back into professional counseling? At Pamper Your Mind, we believe that everyone should have an established therapist, kind of like you have a general practitioner. It's someone that you have rapport with, they know your background, your history, you trust them, and you can check in with them as needed as life presents its unique challenges. So today I am here and joined with Mary Beth to discuss this. Mary Beth and I are both licensed mental health counselors at Pamper Your Mind, where we promote good mental and emotional health for professional women. Hey, Mary Beth, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Kristen. How is everyone doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So I want to get to know a little bit more about you and have you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. But first, I want to just really get into the nitty-gritty of the subject. So my first question for you today that I would be interested in what you would share with our viewers is, what is the biggest myth you feel like you hear about professional counseling or reaching out for help?
The biggest myth that I've heard over my entire career is that asking for help is weakness. And what I like to do with not only my clients, but just people in general that I meet, kind of flip that script a little bit and talk about how asking for help is actually a form of strength, and it's actually very courageous to reach out and ask for help. Go into an office, sit on a couch with somebody that you've never met in your entire life, and just share all of these things about yourself, these struggles that you've been through, these thoughts that you have. And so to me, it's a sign of courage when somebody is able to do that, which is just the opposite of weakness.
Absolutely, I agree. And as you know, but I'll share this with our viewers, the concept of Pamper Your Mind and where it came from was this idea of encouraging, the female leaders in our community, no matter how strong, intelligent, successful, high functioning you are, you need support at times. No one's immune from the struggles that we face in life. And so, yeah, it's definitely a strength, and it's wise and it's smart and very effective to reach out for help. I know another one I hear often, and I'm sure you hear this too, is, thinking that you have to be in a crisis to reach out for help. And I had this professor in college that shared with me this analogy that going to a therapist is kind of like going to a financial advisor, that if you wait until you're bankrupt, you still need to go to a financial advisor and get some help, but you've got a hole to dig out of first. But if you go while things are okay, you can grow to great wealth. And so I encourage people, when you start to feel yourself struggling or feeling overwhelmed or going through a crisis, reach out for help immediately. Don't feel like you have to wait for this big crisis to happen to get in and get help. There's a lot of personal growth that comes in it as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in those discussions with people when they're like exploring that topic with you, I've heard before, like, well, I know what I need to do, or, what's talking about it going to do? How's that going to help? How do you describe how counseling can help people?
I think another myth of counseling is that severely mentally ill people are the only ones that seek counseling. And that's just not true. Mentally healthy people also have difficulty coping. And sometimes they need help. And so for them to be able to understand and have that self-awareness that they need that extra support, they need some extra guidance, is incredibly self-aware that they have that. And then to be able to come and ask for that is also an indicator of strength. And counseling can help promote that self-awareness and improve personal self-growth.
Yeah, definitely. And, I'm always very open, and I try to point this out to people. Even as a licensed mental health counselor, I have my own counselor. So it's not, sometimes from the outside, we can help people, but when you're in it, and you're, emotionally attached to whatever the problem or the challenge is, sometimes having somebody outside your head is really helpful to help, bring that clarity, right? And sort of untangle things for you. And
Yeah.
even if we're in the field and know it, we need that help sometimes. So no
right.
one's into that.
And calling you out on your crap sometimes too.
Yes.
It's like, well, no, that's not really what you're doing, or that doesn't really match up, or let's talk about that some more. So yeah, having your own counselor as a counselor is extremely important. Mm-hmm.
I have my counselor not long ago asked me, well, what would you tell one of your patients? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Leave me alone. So yeah, none of us are immune to it by any means.
Yeah.
So obviously in this world, as we've been going through COVID the past couple of years, you know, virtual therapy has been around for a long time. I know I've been offering it for a very long time, but with COVID, people are getting more comfortable with it. And, you know, I have people ask me, like, how effective is it? What is your experience with virtual versus face-to-face therapy?
So when I started private practice, I had really no desire to go into virtual counseling or telehealth, because I just felt like it was lacking that connection. There was a computer screen between me and the client. But with the pandemic, I was kind of forced into that. And what I've learned from it is that there are it's very clear clients that it works well with and ones that it doesn't. And sometimes the ones that it doesn't, because they crave the same thing that I do, is that kind of face-to-face interaction and seeing somebody. The ones that are okay with it tend to be more of my like younger clients, and then, or my older clients who are kind of unable to leave the house, or they don't feel like safe enough to leave. I feel like it definitely depends on the person. And what I prefer is to meet somebody face to face first and talk about those things and see how they would feel about it. And then we can decide whether virtual was good or not. For me, developing that rapport face to face is important.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, you know, ideal. And to your point, it's, you know, a fit for some people and not for others. So you have to know your preferences. The one big benefit that I do like about the face-to-face option is I think it helps with flexibility. So, you know, we have a lot of patients that travel for work and are in the middle of this progress and this journey of therapy. And so to be able to kind of keep it going consistently. So sometimes it's an extra tool that just helps with the consistency. Or if your therapist is long distance or somebody can't leave work, I even do couple sessions sometimes where we virtually bring in one person in the office and their partner is actually in the office just to make it happen, you know, so we can kind of get creative with it a little bit. But yeah, it's got its pros and cons, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And I have had clients who've moved away, like they moved to the west coast of Florida or something, and so we've maintained that relationship through telehealth, and I think that's very important.
Yeah. So Mary Beth, tell us a little bit about you, because I think that that's also a curiosity that people have, is like, who is a counselor? Like, what's their personality like? And, you know, every therapist obviously has their own personality, their own style, their approach to change. But I want our viewers to get a chance to know you a little bit. What motivated you to become a therapist?
So I was born and raised here in Brevard County, and 5th and 6th grade in elementary school, I was bullied because my family was different than other families. And I was really struggling. Actually, both my mom and I were struggling. So she got me in with a therapist. Her name's Sarah. I wish I remembered her last name, but I don't. And she was a tremendous help to my family, to my mother and I, and getting through that really difficult time and helping me improve my self-esteem and my self-worth and learn how to become more assertive. And so that's kind of where it started for me. But then from there, I went to middle school. I took an abnormal psych class, and I said to myself, this is what I want to do. Like, for sure, in the 9th grade, I knew what I was going to do. And that's where I am. I've been here since, gosh, I graduated college in 2005, I think. So that's what I've been doing. And then I came to Pamper Your Mind in September. So.
And we're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
I like to tell I don't know why. I think it's a funny story, but I was going to school to go into family law. And I vividly remember it just something wasn't clicking. I had gone and done these internships and we had to go and observe the cases in the courthouse. And it was just like one case after the other. They started to kind of sound repetitive. The attorney didn't seem as involved in just this particular situation that I was observing. And I was sitting in my dorm room, and it was back in the day when Oprah used to have Dr. Phil on, and they were talking. Listen, just stay with me for a minute. But they were talking, and all of a sudden just something clicked, and I was like, I want to get that involved in people's lives. Like that's what I want to do. And it clicked. And I that's why I think it's a funny story, because obviously, you know, Dr. Phil's gotten very Hollywood and has, you know, blown up since then. But I just think it was funny. So
I have friends that will say, how do you listen to people's problems all day? And what I tell them is, I'm listening to their stories. Like, I'm not listening to, it's not just problems. It's not just them saying, here's my problem, help, like, fix it for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm listening to their stories, and I feel so humbled to be able to do that every single day. So it's a reward that's never ending for me.
And I think too, like, people don't understand, like, we're not in the problem with you. It's exhausting to you because you're in it. But we see where you're going to go with it. And that is exciting and rewarding. And it brings us energy. So when you come and you're sharing what you're struggling with, it kind of excites us to see where you can go and how you can grow in that experience. So,
yep.
Cool. So Mary Beth, you're taking new patients still, correct?
I am taking new patients. I have Tuesdays and Fridays all day, and then I do Thursday evenings at Pamper Your Mind. And so I am taking new clients. I'm ready to talk to you. So if you need help, please reach out, and we can get something set up.
Okay. So this video is going to be virtual. We are in the state of Florida. We can provide therapy for residents of the state of Florida. However, if you live outside of the state of Florida, please do not hesitate to contact us. We will also help you find referrals more locally where you are living. And we're going to put the contact information in the comments below. But the number to Pamper Your Mind is 321-209-4796. Or you can reach out to us via email, contact@pamperyourmind.com. Here to help you any way we can. Please reach out, get support. If you're not in therapy or have an established therapist, consider just meeting with some people and see if it's the right fit, and explore the ways that it can help you. It's good to get it established, even like I said earlier, if you're not in a crisis, you don't need to go necessarily every week, but definitely have that person there and available for if and when you need it, right? So thanks so much, Mary Beth, for joining us. Again, so thrilled to have you part of the Pamper Your Mind team, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you.